Welcome to Living Ardently. Woo! I'm your
Let's
host,
go.
Adrian Giraldi, and these are our other co-hosts. I don't know where they are actually relatively to where my camera is, but we got Jurell and our new co-host, who you heard on our Christmas episode. If you didn't hear it, go back and listen to it. It's Stephen Aguino. Woo!
Let's go.
So, actually,
What's up,
fun
y'all?
fact. Yeah, these two don't know each other.
Yeah, not at all.
Nice
We,
to meet you.
Likewise,
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
It's really funny. So I, followed, was friends with both of them, like you guys know. And then I just, like I said in the episode where I invited Steve on to be our co-host, I was just like, this just works well, too. The same way that our dynamic with Jurell when I interviewed him went really well. And I asked him, I was like, the same dynamic was with Stephen Aguino. So I was like, I need to reach out. And it's been in my back pocket for a while. So
It's
finally.
a very large back pocket because I'm a big
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, seriously.
And there's another person that I have not asked yet, but one step at a time. You'll know who you are when you be asked next few months from now. So guys,
Nice, dude.
yeah, it's been some time. Jurell, it's been like a couple months since we recorded a podcast together, but we're always talking.
Yeah, that's true.
So
true.
what's up with you? What's been up with you?
Oh man, we're full swing in the mile a day for a living
Mhm.
person. So if you're walking or running your miles, I'm with you. And I don't know what's up with me. We had a good Christmas and good New Year's, but it was pretty different. So we did some distance holidays and stuff with family, which wasn't ideal and stuff, but it's just what it was. So, but overall, really, really good. I mean, Christmas with my 3-year-old was just like magic and amazing and holy and sacred. And then also, we had an addition to the family this year in 2020. So we have my 3-year-old son named Isaiah James, and then my 9-month-old daughter named Ava Grace. So it was just like an amazing holiday season, amazing Christmas, amazing Advent season too. So, and then in the midst of that, I think we're going to be talking about goal setting. In the midst of like all the stability of family was just like all the unknown of what I wanted to do with living person. So, I don't know. It was just one of those seasons where I was like, things feel dry, I feel like things felt fresh for a while, and then like time passed. I'm like, I think it's just time for a change. And like, if we're gonna be one of the accounts that's like pushing to be aware of like when it's time for a change, then I felt like really called to just like do the work of it. So living mile a day in January was like a huge thing for us, and
Yeah.
I'm tired, like so freaking tired, but also really energized with the new work. I feel like it's like really purposeful, energizing work right now. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you introduced a new part to it, which is the Mile a Day Plus, which
Yes.
is huge, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's something that I went to the first workshop and I was like, this is really nice. It's the fact that you were able to connect with people. Like, yeah, you can connect with people like before with the stories and watching their stories, but sometimes, like, because now there's so many people that are doing it that
Yeah.
it just gets lost
It
sometimes.
gets lost, yeah.
So that personal connection in the Facebook, like private Facebook group that we have, is huge. And then the workshops, connecting with them. Even though I came in a little late, I was still able to see faces and hear some of their input. So that was cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It feels like this is like the right work for me. I think, I don't know. Living Person has just been like a lot of apparel stuff lately, and I've been waiting for the moment like when to start introducing some teaching and some writing, and that's like my goal. And it finally is like I'm trying to like make them align. So that's where I'm at right now, and it's exciting and tiring. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think I mentioned in the beginning, but to follow these two awesome guys, Jurell's account is the living person. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
So follow
That's it.
him, and then Stephen Nagino's ministry is the Bosco Beats on Instagram. So make sure you follow them. Of course, you can
Sick
always follow
beats.
us at It's Only Age. Oh no, it's only. You can follow us at Living Ardently, or myself at It's Only Adrian. But yeah, so Steve, how about you? What's your life been like since last year?
Oh man, it's there have been some awesome changes. I got married October 2020, so
Bro, congrats.
thank you. I'm a part of
Wow.
the pandemic proposal crew. Well, I didn't get proposed, and I didn't propose during the pandemic, but we got a lot of like Christmas ornaments and things like that. Like, I got married in a pandemic. And it's like, thanks for reminding me. Appreciate it. But no, they're really cool, fun little gifts and things like that. But yeah, so Christmas was really special this year. Getting to wake up in your own home, decorated trees, stockings, just, you and your wife. It's so beautiful, and it's a moment that has been a part of my prayer for such a long time. So to be able to live, to see the blessings and the things that you've been praying for has been very surreal, and a beautiful opportunity to continue to grow in the faith with my wife. So that was really cool for Christmas. And so I got to see a lot of my family on Christmas and New Year's, like my immediate family, and I hadn't seen them since probably the end of October. So it was a couple of months. And I have a niece and nephew, 3 years old, and one next week in January. So the 1-year-old, from the last time we saw her, wasn't able to stand or anything. And then when we saw her around New Year's, she was walking and reaching for things and calling out names. And it's just so interesting to see how, life continues to move on. Even though things are kind of apart from each other, they don't stop and they continue to move. So just been being able to experience different blessings in that way, and kind of reflecting on 2020 and trying to see where 2021 needs to move and how we can kind of respond and react to that. So but also have some interesting news. I'm now a youth minister at a local parish here in Jersey. So yeah, let's go. Thank you. Yeah,
That's awesome. Wow, those kids they don't know what they got into. This is awesome.
That's what's up.
Yeah, you gotta pray for those kids, because pray for me too. I
It's gonna be
definitely need
lit.
It's super lit. Yeah, if it's lit, so am I. Check out that talk. I'm kidding. It's not recorded anywhere, but we'll talk about that another day. But just some like really cool opportunities are happening, especially in the world of like digital evangelization. So that's where I'm gonna keep it right there.
Oh, I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been some time. But personally, we here at Living Ardently have been growing a lot, which is cool. The team of writers is like up to, I think, 12 writers now. And then we have 2 co-hosts, so that's 14 total, like excluding myself, people that are part of this team. And before, in the beginning, there was like me and a couple of friends, and I would say we here at Living Ardently, and it was kind of like that royal we. But now there's actually a big we, and I'm trying to convince like the writers that they are a huge part of this team. And yeah, I might be like managing a lot of it, but they are literally the meat and bones of this ministry, especially online on the internet. They're reading their content. The listeners and people, people who are following us are reading. It's their content. I'm just making the post, and I'm making them quick. I'm not spending hours on these posts. So yeah, they're the ones who are putting the meat into it. And so I don't know if they understand that yet. But, if you're listening, lit writers, you are a huge part. And if you guys are active, like following us on the Instagram, please like follow them. Like, I don't know, tell them, praise them for their contributions, because, yeah, they're the meat of the ministry. So that's been a blessing. I have a listener who's now a writer, which is cool.
That's awesome.
Somebody who was like an active listener, like started listening from like because of a Kobe episode I made when he passed away last year. And then
That's
he
like
just
OG.
posted about it. Yeah. It was like beginning of last year where like I started to really invest in Living Ardently. So I was like, whoa, that's cool. So then kind of like just started to chat. We started to follow each other. He's in California. And then, yeah, long story short, he became a friend and then became a writer. So really cool.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, really exciting. And yeah, I'm trying to put their faces out there a bit more. So everybody's given me a profile, a photo and a bio, like an introduction to themselves. And I'm going to be posting those as posts on our Instagram to kind of get their faces out there more instead of just mine. Because I never wanted this to just be my face on the podcast, you know. So you guys are gonna be on there too. I think I have yours, Jurell. I don't have Stephen's yet, but when I do,
Not bad.
it's all good. No, I sprung it up on people this weekend, the ones I didn't have. So, but yeah, so really exciting for that. And then for personally, ministry is still going all right. We're doing small groups online over at doing youth ministry, which kind of is kind of draining when you're not able to see kids in person. But when they're at mass, it's like really nice to see them on the weekends. And their spirits are still high despite how crazy it's been. But yeah, they definitely crave to be in person, and so we're hopefully gonna work towards that soon. Yeah, and then for our wedding prep, we're getting married in 4 months, but we don't have a venue anymore. So we got our church. We have no more venue. We gotta figure that out. They canceled on us like a week ago. So
Cancel on everybody?
No, just us, because we're the only ones who wanted to buy them out. Like, can we buy you out for the weekend? And originally they were like yes, and normally they would be yes, but because the chairman made the decision of the private community club, he was a doctor, and he was like, yeah, COVID's bad over here, so no. So I was like, okay. So we kind of took it to the chin. We're not like afraid yet, but we found some good places that might be, really good. It's like an old airplane hangar turned venue, so it's pretty exciting.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so we might have gotten a nice place. So yeah, we're not stressed yet, but there's in time. If we don't have one in 2-3 weeks, we might start to panic.
Hang in there. Being engaged was not my favorite.
Yeah,
not my favorite thing.
How long were you engaged for, Jurell?
2 years. No, 1 year.
Okay.
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
How are you? How about you?
2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro.
Really? That
And
didn't seem like 2.5 years.
Because of that?
What's that?
Was that because of the pandemic or just?
No. So the proposal came in 2018. 2018 in May, and then the wedding was in October. But Emily was in school, so we were waiting for her to graduate and finish up. But we would have gotten married like the next day. But honestly, like being engaged and being able to continue in that relationship and kind of that stage of life was like pretty cool too.
Cool.
So, but yeah, long engagements are difficult.
Yeah. I was in the wedding industry, and it just like brought so much stress for like when I was going through it, maybe like 1 week before the wedding, I was like all this stress and all this money for me to just wake up, put on a tux, and then it's like, and then we start doing the thing that I want to do,
Right.
So, like me being in the wedding industry, I'm just like, I have like these certain perspectives of like, dude, like this is just not the point, like it's this like beautiful thing, but like, and also like not all of us are event planners, like that want to spend 10, 20, 30 grand on an event. Like with youth ministry, we want that stuff. Like we want like good sound equipment and blah, blah, blah. I want to plan it all out, but like, it wasn't my most fun experience. Being married has been the most fun and holy experience, but being engaged, I would pass.
Can't wait.
You just like meet your wife. Hi, I'm Jurell. I do. Let's go.
Let's go. That's Jurell's trademark is that "let's go." So anytime we say "let's go," we gotta exaggerate it.
Let's go. That was from I taught at a Catholic all boys high school for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Every second every second.
Let's go.
In the hallway, like simultaneously, all and like combined with the chest pump. Let's go! And I would be like teaching. I would be teaching theology. I'm like, does anybody know what the hypostatic union is, or like whatever theology? Like, can somebody define the incarnation? And like, when God this or that, and like, let's go!
That's
I'm like,
funny.
okay, that's correct. Moving on.
That's very true.
Where did you teach at the Old Boys?
Cleveland, Ohio. It's
nice.
it's called St. Edward High School.
Cool. I also taught at an Old Boys high school for 2 years.
Did you like it?
When I was in religious life. It was awesome because I went to that school as well. So I was a student there, and then I got to teach there.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I wish Let's Go was what they said, because the things they were like saying, and I was a brother in religious life, they were just trying to see where I was at, and I was like, heard it, not impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, they were always they were like vultures, man. Always
Right.
trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Their test, they test. I remember being that age. I had one teacher that we tested, and he was cool. Like, he was a boxer. Like, he was like amateur boxer / teacher, and so like after
Sounds
like
like
I
a Mark
graduated,
Wahlberg movie.
right?
Totally.
After I graduated, we became friends on Facebook. Like, after high school, like we were friends he was my teacher at middle school, and then we became like, Facebook friends, and I was like, wow, Mr. DeLuce was a boxer and like a good one. It was crazy. So, but yeah, he was one of the teachers we tested, but he was really cool about it all. But yeah, so I love this interaction that we have, that you guys are getting to know each other, and as the listeners are trying to get to know us. So I love that. This is real cool. So with that, like, we're talking about our personal things, and we want to be a bit more personal here. We're gonna have more episodes where it's just us co-hosts, whether it's us three or just us two combination of us. We're gonna be on here a bit more, like, not always interviewing people like we did a majority of last year, which is awesome and great. But we want to do a bit more. Get back to the roots where we were doing like topical podcasts, but also find some meat for you guys to kind of chew on from our mouths. I mean, that kind of sounds gross. It sounds like cannibalism. But you know what I mean. Like, we want to get to like.
You ever see Bishop Barron's video on Eucharist and John 6 and the gnawing?
Oh yeah. The gnawing. Like, yeah, that's so funny.
Every time I hear the word gnaw, I think about Bishop Barron doing that video.
It's very like descriptive the way it was. Yeah. If you don't know it, I'll link it in the bios. I mean, the show notes, so you can like understand where we're coming from. We don't just sound like dummies gnawing about meat. There's some context there. So with 2021 always coming around, with the new year always coming around, there's always like resolutions and things like that. But what are not necessarily resolutions, but what are some goals you hope to accomplish with your own personal ministries that you're able to share, if you're not already, like, I know some of us are like plotting things that are like kind of like hidden still because we're not sure, but what are the things that you hope to achieve in our personal ministries, which whether it be the living person or the Bosco Beats, what are some goals there that you hope to accomplish by the end of this year?
How you want to do this?
Jurell, I'll let you go first.
Let's do one each.
All right.
Yeah.
Like rotate. Maybe we can like chat about it.
Yeah. How about you first then?
I let me think of something fun. Are we talking about personal goals for like 2021?
Personal goals for our personal ministries in 2021.
For personal ministry, so living person.
Yeah. Unless if you don't have anything in particular and you just want to share a personal one, then go for that.
I'll share a personal one right now because it's on my mind. But like, I texted in the group to watch Cobra Kai, and ever since I've been watching Cobra Kai. I know Adrian's been following my personal Instagram. I've been sharing these kung fu videos.
Yeah.
Like, kung fu is like on my mind all the time.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, it's actually I know. I have this dream list that I created like in 2016, and it includes like everything. And in 2016, I wrote down that I would become. This is like a lifetime goal, dream list. I wrote down two like kind of strange things. I wrote down that I would become an incredible salsa dancer, like even into my 70s and 80s, and then I would become a black belt in martial arts. So then in 2016, I did a summer of like this like Filipino Kali dirty boxing, and so it's like just like been like, I don't know, I've been fascinated with martial arts. I feel like it's part of like our roots as like Filipinos, you know.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing I'm gonna do in 2021 is like start to research kung fu and figure out like how to learn.
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. That's probably also why I'm obsessed with the show.
Open a dojo. That's it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The living dojo.
The living dojo.
I'm just gonna bow to Jurell every time I see him now.
Sensei. Don't call me sensei. Call me sensei. sorry, sensei. I'm sorry.
So good.
If you guys haven't
episodes I
watched that
watched so
show,
far.
it's so good. It's so good. The first two episodes. I'm excited to watch the rest of it, but I can't. Apparently now I'm not allowed to watch it without my roommate.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he like walked in the beginning of it, and then he just like watched in, and then we just like, okay, we're hooked. So you can't watch this without me.
I can't wait till we can talk about all 3 seasons, bro. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, it's 30 episodes. It's not much.
Let's
It's not
go.
much.
It's not much. 30 episodes, yeah.
And they go by so fast. It's only like 25, 26 minutes.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's like the good size, like consumable episodes.
Yeah.
So it's really good. All right, Steve, how about you?
All right, so it's so crazy that Jurell mentioned to become an incredible salsa dancer because I too want to be an incredible salsa eater. So just trying all different types, getting my heat levels up, working my way through mango habanero currently, ghost pepper is on my bucket list, and I hope to make it to the last dab on hot ones.
That's
I'm kidding.
amazing.
Somehow
Somehow we always end up talking about food. This is like a food channel.
It's a food channel.
It really is
It's a
important.
secret food channel.
Yeah. No, but so one thing personally for me is, and it's really funny because today I drove by the house that I bought this from, but almost 3 years ago on Facebook Marketplace, I saw a drone for sale with like a ridiculous discount. So I bought the drone, and now I'm studying for my FAA Part 107 drone certification. And so I'll be able to fly professionally, and that's my goal for this year. So I've been doing a lot of studying, a lot of reading like sectional charts and knowing the regulations for flying and things like that. So now I can like fly legally because it's been illegal this whole time. But that's part of what I love to do with videography, cinematography, things like that. And we're gonna talk with Bro Rye, the inspiration guy, coming up in like a short period of time, sometime this year. But he talks a lot about passion projects, and so one of my passion projects has been really being able to share the things I've created over the past, couple years, and different little projects that I want to work on moving forward. So I created a new Instagram account called Igino.media. So it's just showcasing some of the fun things that I've been able to work on, and some of the things I'll create in the future. Yeah, that's just one of my things. So the drone certification, that's my goal for 2021.
That's
How
so
are you studying
funny.
for that?
So I have an app, and it's like called like the Remote Pilot, whatever. It was like a $5 or $6 app, and they just go through different questions. Also on YouTube, like I'll watch YouTube tutorials and videos and explanations all day long. And then there's sites that offer free practice tests. So that's what I'm studying. Yeah. It's
I have an
$150
online-
to take the test though. So if you fail it, you got to pay $150 again.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
You won't fail it though.
No.
You'll be good.
Yeah, you need a 70 to pass. I've been getting solid at like 83s. So they're like, once you get a 90, you can take a test. And I was like, it's so close. Let's keep working.
That's so close. Dang. That's awesome. I mean, I just realized that, both of you are media heads. Jurell has his media side project stuff and business. and now do you too. It's like, wow, maybe there's a trend here. All my co-hosts have to be media heads.
Yeah, I don't know. Reach out if I can ever help with anything. That's like my. And I don't. At this point, the media stuff is work. Like, and then living person stuff is passion project, and then now the kung fu stuff will be passion project. But yeah, like I'm a media head. I've never called myself that, but I am.
Yeah. I find myself on the same path, and like there was so much that was happening with Bosco Beats, especially from like 2015 on, with making music and being able to do like concerts and retreats, and then everything kind of just not really fell flat, but everything's like kind of virtual now. And I'm more so of like a solo artist because my rapping partner is now a deacon in Jerusalem, so I don't get to do much with him. But still awesome guy. We keep in contact every so often. But I'm trying to work my way back into making music again. So hopefully, last year around this time I came out with Dub. I've got a project in the works, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we can release it by March or so.
That's awesome.
That's amazing, man.
Exciting stuff.
Thanks.
I want to play it at my wedding, so release it by then.
It's a great wedding song. It's called
I bet.
Perfect Remix by Bosco Beats.
Bosco. Is it really?
Yeah. No.
That's awesome. So, I guess we all kind of share personal ones. I guess I could do a personal one too. I guess I don't know if I have any really big personal goals besides being like a good husband. Like, because that's going to be huge for the biggest change I think of this year is going to be becoming a husband and not a fiance or a boyfriend. So that's I think my biggest goal. I don't think anything out there really trumps that. Besides hopefully growing this ministry, but I think for this ministry, there's a couple things I have this 2021 vision note on my I typed it in my notes on my phone or on my laptop, and I just it goes up and down. And I think a couple of the most exciting parts to it is some of the ideas. There's a few ideas, but I guess the one idea that I love the most is just continuing to growing the team. Obviously that's something that already has happened, but getting the team much more involved in the ministry. That was something that I wanted to do last year, but I didn't really get to do much because I was so focused on doing this stuff, the podcast, that I didn't do that as much as I could. So there's that, and then a couple ideas. I'll just throw some ideas out that I had. I had was like a cocktail hour live, where we just go live and we just talk to whoever's on for maybe an hour in a day, kind of a live broadcast. I don't know, something like that. I thought it was really fun, a cool thing to do.
That was fun the last time you did that.
I remember we did that.
That was just actually sick.
It was really fun. The people came on, and then
Did you just pop on live and you're like, whatever, I'm on?
Yeah, I was cooking, I think, and I was like,
and then we
let's
would
just
invite people to come on.
Yeah, and then we just talking. I think I might have been trying to test something too, but yeah, just people came on. It was 30 minutes, 30 or maybe even more worth of people coming on and off.
Dude, so. IG Live is scary.
Yeah.
I hate IG Live.
There's a lot of people that can just come on, but it's also really fun. I mean, I don't always watch the IG Live all the way through.
Yeah.
But if I can do something like there's this account that I follow that will do every Tuesday do a live, but then give away money. But I don't have money to give away. They'll just Venmo you some money if you win.
Monopoly money.
It's trivia. They'll do trivia, and then what'd you call it? And if you answer the question right, they'll send you $10.
Do you remember that app HQ? Yeah. It was sounds similar to that, where it starts out with literally 10 or hundreds of thousands of people, and as you play, there's 10 questions. They progressively get harder, and then if you make it to the last round, however many people are there, no matter what, split a crazy amount of money.
Wow.
But it usually, or I think it's a couple $100s. But anyways, it sounded exactly like that.
That's awesome. I've never heard of that. but I would have been all over that if I knew that. So that's cool. So moving on to that podcast thing, I think it'd be cool to do a little bit of a live brainstorm together, kind of things that we want to do together on the podcast, some ideas for some segments. Because like I said, we're going to do episodes together where it's not always going to be Q&A with Jurell maybe anymore, where we're just doing topical base like we said. The Q&As are great. You guys do love that. We're not going to eliminate that completely, but maybe it's a segment within our podcast rather than the entire podcast now. So that's an idea. But what are some ideas that you guys want to throw out there? And I'll throw out some too.
Can I go first?
Go first.
Heck yeah.
Okay. The reason why is because, like, clearly there's no coincidence, but it's, like, just a funny connection. So Jurell's talking about Kung Fu, and I happen to know a ninja. And he's the papal ninja, Sean Bryan from American Ninja Warrior on NBC.
What?
Yes. What? Yeah, so I think it would be awesome to have him on the podcast as a guest, like, just kind of sharing, you know, what it's like being the papal ninja. He actually was in formation with the Salesians for the Western Province, so we had a little, like, overlap of formation experiences together. So he's just an awesome guy. But, you know, talking about Kung Fu, papal ninja, Sean Bryan.
That's
so
amazing.
you need to reach out to him because I already did, and he already said no to me.
Are you for real? Honestly, for real?
Honestly, I already DM'd him like late last year when Father Gadberry was on the show with him. The same time Bishop Barron was on the show, like watching. Yeah, I reached out to him a little bit before that, and then he said, "I'm really busy right now. I can't, but like maybe catch me in the future." So since you got the connection,
yeah. We'll
send the
see how
invite.
it goes.
It's like, you see what happened is
yeah, that's so funny. But yeah,
I think that you can reach out to him again.
yeah, I definitely could.
yeah, you should try for sure. That'd be cool.
It's been some time. It's enough time, right? Has passed. I give it about 4 months, and then I'll reach again. There's a couple people I want to reach out still. There's Mari from West Coast Catholic. She just was super busy. We kept like postponing our interview, and then eventually she just had to say, like, I'm not gonna string you along anymore. I don't think I can do it right now, because after like when I asked her, it was before they started doing like expanding massively, and so like now they're like they have a whole team there too, like an actual like their shipping team, like it's huge. So it's really cool what they're doing over at West Coast Catholic. So if you haven't bought any of the rosaries, go check theirs out.
I think they've got the best rosaries. I love them. I really do.
I wish I took care of mine. Sarah got me one last Christmas, and I kept it just in my pocket all the time, not in the case. And I started to lose beads because I was just so rough with it. I put in my keys in there, same pocket, and just got
Those are the hard Hail Marys, like.
Yeah. Hail Mary.
It's like playing the thumb war with rosaries.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of like muscles and things like that, somebody who would be pretty cool to get on here is a guy named Joey Glore who works with Bishop Barron. I don't know if you know of him. He was on an MTV show back in like the 2000s where they would work with teens who like wanted to get fit over the summer to like come back to school and like surprise, but also like make like healthy lifestyle changes. And he was, I don't think it was made. I think it was specifically about like fitness and weight loss, exercise, all that kind of stuff. But he came on the show, and the kid that he trained, his name was Joshua, and he was like, "I'm gonna call you Yeshua," and I was like, who's this guy? And then I saw his tattoos, and he had like Jesus and like St. Clair, I think, and I saw like the Immaculate Heart of Mary on his arm. I was like, this guy's Catholic. And then funny. Like years later, I saw that he was working for Bishop Barron, so I was like threw him a friend request on Facebook, and I just like all his stuff. Hopefully he'll be like, this dude is weird, and now he wants me to be on some sort of podcast with these guys. But we'll see what happens. But I think he'd be like a pretty cool person, like hear his story and like what he does. So yeah, but like Bishop Barron helped him in his like deep in his Catholic formation and identity.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's. I remember seeing him, and I thought it was somebody was talking. I was like, yeah, it's Brandon Vaught. I was like, the Brandon Vaught, because he was talking about like, oh, it's he works with Bishop Barron real closely. He was like Brandon Vaught, and he's like, no, Brandon Vaught's not this built, is he? He's like, built. So I'm like, show me the picture. I was like, oh, that's not Brandon Vaught at all. Who that is? So was really funny. Yeah, that was my first time ever introducing myself to him. Finding out about him was thinking that he was Brandon Vaught when he very much was not
funny.
him.
That's funny. I think I know who you're talking about just from like being on their content. I've just seen some like really jacked guys on there. I'm like, okay, you're reading the first reading. Okay.
That's funny.
I'll behave.
What's your input? What do you think?
I want to hear more rants. I want to hear more Adrian rants, you know?
Some rants? Oh, no. Those are dangerous.
Yeah, I know. That's why. I think like my conversations with you on the phone, I don't know. And like actually like our pre-podcast conversations, sometimes I wish were actually just the podcast, you know?
Right, yeah.
So I feel
There's some good stuff.
like I know that there are people that want to hear more of your personality, and then and like that's kind of like the thing that I was wrestling with. It's like I feel like every time I like press record for formal content, something happens to me where it's just like robotic or like I get like my youth minister voice or my campus minister voice, or I get this element of like, okay, this needs to be like to the T, perfect. But then like when we're chatting and like going back and forth with questions, and then I go back and like pick like, oh, this is like truly an anointed moment, you know? And then you get to see this 1 minute of like, there's no context, but you get to see like we did all this work to get to here, and this, you get to see this. I feel like you finding that spot, that like that little segment for you will be really effective and important for building up Living Ardently, you know.
Right. I feel like just right now, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you have so much to give. Like there's so much personality and so much experience and so much wisdom and blah blah blah. So. Right.
Someone calling me wise is the last thing I expected when I turned 26. There's just so much randomness that comes to my like to me that it's really funny. You can ask Sarah of some of the stuff that I will say. She gets to see the different side of me that's just super goofy. But I know what you're talking about. Like there's that part of me where like if I'm fiery about something, or if I'm like said in like if I want to say something, I'll say it, but it's not always gonna come out PG in a way that I feel like will keep me out of trouble, you know. So maybe if I do that, we'll what I had an idea was to eventually start a Patreon. I mean, that's something that I always felt it was so far out, but I was encouraged by somebody else to say, hey, like why wait so far out? Like why not start building that now? Start, you know, like once you have content for them, you can, and like that could be something for it, like the unhinged parts where it's not like always available for everybody, but people could listen to it if we make it available there, so it's something attainable, a reason for them to contribute. And then they said, you know, you'll be surprised how many people want to contribute to your ministry. You know, so I was like, oh, okay, so that might be coming up. You never know. A couple of ideas I had, you know, like those live streams. Like I think those live streams are really fun but scary, like you said. Live sessions, whether it be
so scary.
Yeah, trivia nights with prizes and game nights. We're on there. Maybe I'll organize with some people to kind of just go on and have fun with me for once in a while. But I also want to start making some more like clips, longer version of clips. Like maybe if we do a game, like our game time today, might just be a whole IGTV that I put up on Instagram, and people just get to watch it.
Yeah,
because
I like that.
I realize not everybody's gonna go and listen to the podcast, right? We have 1,000 some followers, and maybe about 1/10 of them listen. You know, and so I mean that's the hard facts. Not everybody's a podcast listener, but people are on Instagram. So,
true.
Trying to put more of the podcast content onto Instagram is going to be a goal of ours. But something to play with is just complete IG segments that will be available to you all.
I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
I think that's really smart.
Getting that good micro content to drop back to the full clip.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then collabing on some reels. Like me and Koji did a reel collab once. It was really funny. It was about Jesus and his car that he would drive, which was a Honda Accord.
I saw that.
Right, and so
Yo,
stuff
reels.
like that.
How many
Reels
Accords?
is insane.
Well, no, he was afraid to talk about it because he said, "I do not speak of my own accord." You know.
It's like, what do the disciples travel in? One Accord.
What?
Look at that face.
What were you gonna say, Jurell?
I said reels are insane.
Yeah.
I'm running social for this company in town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like reposting some content for them, and I started reposting these reels, and some of them were getting 5,000, and then all of a sudden 13,000 views, and then all of a sudden 50,000 views, and all of a sudden 100,000 views, and then all of a sudden 300,000 views, 400,000 views. Within like 4 weeks, we went from 4,000 followers to 9,000 followers. I'm like, I didn't even do anything.
Right.
Algorithm loves the reels.
I know,
Right.
they really do. And like,
People said like if you have something to give to people, like those reels, like do several part series, and let them like come to you and follow your page.
Yeah.
And people will flock. It's crazy. Reels are huge, and if I'm able to figure out exactly what to do with them, like
I know.
All right, listen, we got to test this hypothesis to see if reels really make a difference. And I'm going to create a 3-part series about how to tie your shoes. And if I don't gain 100 followers in 2 weeks, it's a sham.
debunked.
it's a sham.
Over. Mythbusters, let's go.
Dude,
Who wants to be Adam?
This is
I'll
guy
be Jamie.
I follow. This is guy I follow who does like fit like style stuff, and he just like made this series on how to tie your hoodie strings. And I followed him because of that. And look at these. These are like instead of just keeping them flat, they call it the flying lotus. And
God.
I just call that
like
the
fun.
crazy knot. Like what?
But it's cool. I mean, like
That
I go
looks
back
awesome.
and watch it.
I'm always trying to figure out what to do with my hoodie strings.
Right. So he has a few things like that, and I don't know.
That's
It's
the
just
thing.
it's really cool.
You gotta like figure out your thing to lead them into your content. I'm like, should I mess with it? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's interesting.
You have like mile part series.
Yeah.
Like
How to run a
2-part
mile.
series. Yeah.
How to run a mile. I'm just like, Maybe.
You can make
Are
it a
on
story,
Reels,
like a
Stephen?
story reel, where like, here's my goal for the rest this month. I'm gonna do that. Watch my journey, and you just like vlog it, and people like will follow it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm not sold yet. Like for whatever. Like for like some of the accounts I'm working with, like I'll try it out for their sake. But like for TLP, I'm like,
Yeah.
Are you on it, Stephen?
I'm not. I'm really trying to like dedicate myself to creating content for social because Bosco Beats has been pretty quiet and like genuinely I haven't been making like beats. That's just not like what my like drive and passion is right now at the moment, and it's more so like creating, I guess, bigger content. But I would love to try to dive into it. I know that the same thing goes with TikTok. Like you can brand or you can take any content and make it for almost anything. But if it doesn't work out on certain platforms, then you don't use it. But Reels is like just TikTok's older brother sort of thing. Even though you got crazy engagement on that.
Totally.
But yeah.
Yeah, I know it's there. I'm just like, I don't have any drive to do it.
Yeah, it's just I mean, if I want to do it, I want to do it well.
Right.
And I want to do it, and I know the ways that are going to attract. I know like ideas of what would attract certain people, but do I have the right input? Do I have the right idea of how to implement it? I don't know.
And I'm not
it's an
willing to
idea.
be embarrassed. I'm not like willing to be embarrassed to try it. You know, like it was like, I'm
Well,
not really
the
down.
graceful thing is that when you post a reel, you don't have to keep it on your grid. You
I
can share
know.
it onto the thing and take it off the grid. So like it's still shared as a post, but onto
Yeah.
the feed, but it's not on. I thought that once you put it up, you like it's part of the grid and you can't take it
It's there
off.
forever.
Yeah, but yeah, you can. So that's nice.
I would love to do a real series on guys in Hallmark movies versus guys in real life. Because I watched nothing but Hallmark movies for the last month and a half.
What, since
That's
you were
so funny.
married?
Yeah. So tomorrow the 10th is 3 months for us. But
Amazing,
just
dude.
during the Christmas season, we've been watching tons and tons of Hallmark movies. So I'm like, I can be the lawyer from New York who moved back down to his small town to figure out that the librarian that he used to know back in grammar school is now available, and he suddenly got the promotion, but he wants to reject it so that he could stay as a librarian for the rest of his life and find a sled in the middle of the road which disappears after he fixed it. Boom.
Boom.
Literally one of the movies I watched. The only Hallmark movie I've watched this year was almost exactly that plot line.
That same plot line.
Almost
The movie's going to be
exactly.
called Ho 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 and CEO.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Oh, you know what's really
Hallmark
funny?
movies.
You guys have something that's something in common that you guys share.
What's that?
Are you a lefty, Jurell?
Nah.
No,
Well, not that. thing.
Bachelorette.
Bachelorette. Let's go.
Dude. Yo,
All right.
okay, here's something.
Real talk. Let's go.
Real talk, I've been getting flack for the last like 2 or 3 years from people on Instagram and then my students as well for tagging bachelorette in my hashtags. Like, why are you tagging this in your hashtags? Like, and does no one see that everybody on here is Christian, like low key Christian, you know? And like
Yeah.
with like Becca and Colton and Ben Higgins, and then into like, who was it? Just the other day, the new guy, Matt James. He was supposed to give his speech to the women, and he's like, you know what? I thought a lot about what I was supposed to say to you all, but I actually just wanted to take a different route. And he goes, would you all bow your head and join me in prayer? And he legit said, open the whole thing in prayer.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I was like, that's why. That's why I've been tagging it for 3 years.
Yeah. Let's go.
Come on.
Let's go.
I haven't watched The Bachelor yet, but I did watch The Bachelorette with like when there was like 7 or 8 guys left, and I was
With Tasha?
hooked. Yeah, with Tasha. And then speaking of everybody's low key Christian, she sent Ivan home because they had different views on religion. So I was so curious to know like
Interesting.
what is there or what were there religious differences in points of views. So
I would be
Who
willing.
knows?
I didn't see that, but I would guess that Tasha's not Catholic, and that Ivan is, because Ivan's Filipino.
and you already know. Thank you,
Yeah.
Father.
He knows.
That's funny.
I wonder if that was it. But I really like that dude.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. He should
Yeah.
be the next Bachelor, but
Yeah, he's too normal and stable to be.
Yeah, we
the
don't
next
we,
Bachelor,
we,
it seems
we
like.
don't need those normal people apparently in normal TV. Anyway, y'all, so we're gonna take a break right here and come back with some more Bachelor conversations.
That's funny.
We'll be right back.
Nice.
All right, we're back with our co-hosts, with all of us beautiful, handsome men. Thank you so much for all our fans. Please, we'll sign autographs later. Listen, we have a game that we're going to play in just a little bit, but before that, we have some, like we were talking about goals earlier, and, I think it's always important. I'm not a huge, resolution person, always, but I always think it's valuable to set goals. Do you guys feel the same?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
Why? Why do you think it's what is the value that people can get from goal setting at the beginning of the year, or whenever? What value
little
do you
kid.
get?
My little 3-year-old always goes,
Let me see.
Let me think for a sec. I think what we were doing in our living person workshop was we were doing this exercise because I met a Jesuit back in 2010 that said that there are only 3 questions that are asked on an Ignatian retreat. The first one is, what do you want? The second one is, what do you really want? And the third one is, what do you really, really want? So he talked about the broad scope of our desires and how they start off super selfish, and then if you just have a conversation of like this teen or whatever wants to like be filthy rich, and if you talk to them and say like, really, like, is that all you care about is money? And it's like that's the conversation we're gonna have, seriously? He's like, well, no, I mean, like, I care about lots of things. I care about my family. I want to have a good job. I want to be successful. I don't want to suffer, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, like, we're getting somewhere, like, what do you really, really want? And then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And I was given this thought back in 2010. I never forgot it. This priest named Father John Stoudemire said that our deepest desires are God's desires. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Because, like back in the day, like in Catholic school, like your desires are not of God, they're of the world, and your desires are bad, blah, blah, blah. Right. So we went through this whole thing of like how, like if you have that core belief that we're all made in the image and likeness of God, and every human being has that divine spark within them, God's light and love is even in the midst of the most like messed up and darkest desire. And if you work with it, you'll find God's desire within it. So we did this exercise where you would start off with your selfish desires, push it to the second stage, and then push it to the deepest stage. And I think the purpose of a goal is to express that deep desire. And if you're not setting goals, like, you're not doing what I think is the most essential thing in life, which is to reflect on what this whole thing is. Like, is this just a Zoom meeting? Or like, am I just talking to two random people that have no personality, no desire, no longings? Like, and if it is nothing, then like, I'm out. Like, can I just be done with all? Can I just be done with this, like, this pandemic and like
this is
all
all a
this hurt?
simulation.
Yes. Like, if it is nothing, then I'm out. Like, I don't want to do this anymore, you know? So, I think that's like the most dramatic sense of it. Right. Because like, when you're questioning like that, like you will inevitably be brought to the most like unanswerable questions of who am I and where am I going type of thing. Why am I here? So, and then to come back to like a more simple thing, like, I have all that stuff that I want to express, and it comes out in a goal, and that's to me the importance of a goal.
That's true. That's true. That is great. I think that it really, for me, like, the goal setting, it shows me that I'm like, when just go back to like the first time I did the Mile Day May Challenge. I think it was 2019.
First time was 2018.
Oh, 2018, yeah. Whenever it was, 2018, like, like doing that. I was never a runner. I still am not a runner. But I set a goal for myself at that time to just try, and to try to do it. And the fact that I even got out and ran, I mean, I like at some point within the mile, I was always doing it on a treadmill, but at some point, like, I got outside and I did a good amount of the latter half outdoors, and the fact that I was doing that was very uncharacteristic of me. And so like when I set a goal, whether it be small or big, like I always tend to find something new about myself that I didn't know I was capable of. And if I never set goals for myself, I'm never able to see that. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to see these sides of me that I'm not aware of already, every time I experience a new part of myself is because I set a goal prior to that. That's not always related to it. You know, just because I started this this podcast, I just wanted to start it. I just wanted to figure it out, like see if it would even sound cool. You know,
I remember the first one. I remember the first episode.
And here we are now. Like I have 2 co-hosts, and it's become a whole ministry. You know, it's so cool, and humbling really to be able to have something like this. And it's nothing huge. It's not like 1,000, 1,200. You know, like it's not like hundreds and thousands of people listening, but there's a listening of people who I don't know, listening to our voices, to reading our content on our social media and sharing our post. You know, it's nothing that I thought would have happened in the beginning of it, of setting that goal. You know, and every time I've set a new goal, I've experienced something new. And that's what I love about goal setting. So, I mean, like, I'm not a big resolution guy, because it's like, I don't always keep my resolutions, you know, but goal setting, I think, is huge.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I love that answer, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I think that, you know, goal setting is important because I feel like as human beings, we're always trying to be on the move and seeing, like, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are never satisfied, and we're constantly looking for what is the next challenge, what is the next upgrade, what is the next update, and goals help to give us a direction towards something that is good. And I think that is very innate in our, you know, human identity, but also in our faith of seeking what is good, true, and beautiful. And those are the transcendental values right there. But, you know, looking after that, we can put that into our goals and say, okay, are our goals helping us to achieve something that is good, true, or beautiful? And if it's not, is that a worthy goal? And should we be really seeking that and approaching that? But I think, too, one of the really important things is after you set those goals, really have a conversation with yourself and say, are these things realistic? Because I remember setting goals for myself that I was just like, yeah, it's not going to happen, and just being disappointed and upset. But also really understanding why you're setting the goal. So similar to what you were saying, Jurell, of like, what do you really, really want to do? Or, you know, in that same vein of like, now, why? And if you can answer that question, then that can sustain your pursuit of that goal.
Totally.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think echoing that, I think it's just like when we're able to set these goals, and we are able to understand ourselves a little bit better at the end of the day. And if you don't have any goals for this year yet, and you kind of I remember having this kind of mentality when I was going through this time of like sadness, where like, what's the point of setting goals and not going to accomplish them anyway? And if you find yourself sometimes thinking that way, I challenge you to kind of go out there and set some goals, realistic goals maybe, and maybe ask yourself, what do you want? What do you really want? And what do you really, really want to get to that? And hopefully, could we make that worksheet that you made possibly available?
Yeah.
For those listeners?
Yeah, and that, like, you have the questions already, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and then what else was I gonna say? We're gonna release another worksheet, because actually what I ended up doing in 2015 with a buddy of mine was we did this exercise from a business author that we really like, who had some really, I don't know, like like their advice was in the spirit of Christianity, like kind of like a servant leadership vibe type of thing. And what he had you do was take, I think it was like a list of everything that you're good at and everything that gives you energy or something like that. But anyways, it was an exercise of like self-awareness, and then he had you list out goals for 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. Oh, and and then I was trying to look up this stat, but it was a stat from this study at Harvard that said, like, out of 100 people, 20% of those 100 people actually wrote down the goal, and then out of the out of the 20%, I'm just making up numbers, out of the 20% of the people that wrote down the goal, 10% of the people that wrote down the goal told another person, and that 10% accomplished everything that they wrote down.
Wow.
And 5 years, like we did this in 2015, it's 2020. Both of us accomplished 80% of everything that we wrote down. It was kind of wild. And then the 20% of what we didn't accomplish were things that we just decided were like stupid things that we didn't really want in the first place. So like I saw the value of like, I don't know, like there's an element of patience, you know, and like, and especially with like the comparison game on Instagram, like you're seeing these big things, these big accounts, which like are not as big as you think, by the way, like nobody's got like, it's just Instagram, you know, like if someone says 100,000 followers, like you can probably guess that like 5 to 10% of the people are following them. And it's like the internet doesn't lie. You can see the stats and the comments and likes. It's not that big. So like convince yourself, like tell yourself like these are not whatever, like just like start where you are and keep on plugging away. But like I think it's so important for you to write it down and to tell another person, which is like the foundation of a living person. That's why you have these cards. Tell another person and then put it away. And I think the piece that like really propelled us to success was we committed to looking at it like every other month or something like that.
Yeah.
You got to keep it coming up in your prayer, you know, and like keep asking God, like I wrote this down in 2015. Is this dumb? You know, is this still something you're calling me to? And I have this sheet right now. I think it's from 2018 of just like, I call it my dream list. And there have been moments where I've like wrote something down, crossed it out because that's what I felt called in prayer. And then like a year later, I'm like, no, I feel like the thing that I crossed out is the thing that I need to do now. So it's like this constant revision, like your life is changing, you know, your goals and dreams and blah, blah, blah will change as you go. And I think that's that spirit of discernment. Like discernment isn't just for vocations. It's for all these little things in life as well that partake in, like add up to what it means to live out a Christian life. So
that's awesome. I think that's true. I mean, I was just about to say, as you were talking, like, this is why you do the challenge cards, isn't it? Because it's important to write these down. And I remember getting really excited about these challenge cards and like writing them down at first when you first came out with them. And it was really fun. Like the whole first thing that we really met with was the 111 challenge.
That's right.
Like you alluded to a few the last time we talked on the phone. And the 111 challenge, you teamed up with Life Team, and you had us write down, what was it?
I forget. No, pick up one thing, like drop one thing, pick up one thing, and focus on one sin was the formula for Lent. So you would give something up, pick something up, and focus on one sin to kick to the curb type of thing.
That's cool.
And you would just write it down, you know?
Yeah. I just remember seeing my kids light up and be interested in it. So, like, it's nice to, like, write these little things, these goals, and it's endorphins, really, when you're able to check them off a list, you know?
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Steve? Sorry.
No, I was going to say, you know, hearing you guys talk about the importance of writing things down, you know, I remember saying constantly, like, hearing about different things, like, well, it's not written in stone. But now you're like, well, it's written on paper, and it has ink, and it has a life now on this page. You can't just hit delete. So don't put it in your notes on your phone, because when your battery dies, you got to charge your phone and be like, oh, I don't want to charge it. And so it's so easy to make excuses. But when it's on a piece of paper in ink or lead or whatever, you know, it makes it more official. And you're like, oh, I got to do this thing now.
Yeah.
And you put it somewhere where you can see it.
Exactly.
And like that's something that I hear a lot in like leadership classes or business classes, but like so like okay, yeah, put it somewhere where you can see it, but how about you put it somewhere where God can see it, you know? And how about you like bring it to regular prayer? It's like, God, is this still something you want me to do? Because it's gonna involve a lot of pain and a lot of sacrifice, you know, like stuff like that. Right. So I think that's the game changer for me is like be willing to let some of these things go. And let it be like a humble experience, you know?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
That's awesome. I love that. So we hope that this entire year we provide you with some value. This value part of the podcast is what we're calling it. And we hope that you guys get something out of it. Like we said, the value part, we call it the meat. The beginning of it was the fat. The fat of the. Sorry for my vegans there, but then this is the meat of the conversation, and we hope that we are able to deliver that for you guys. And we're gonna do episodes like this where we're all together. We're gonna do episodes where it's just one-on-one with one of us. We're gonna do episodes where one of us interviews somebody, maybe one of us interviews somebody. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a whole new season, a whole new not completely new. There's going to be a little bit changes here and there, but we're always constantly dying and rising, like Jurell has been saying on The Living Person with the Mile a Day, and we're always going to continue to evolve and transform and see what's new and what works and what doesn't work here on Living Ardently.
I love it.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Well, a new thing that I'm really excited about is introducing this game section to the podcast. And we did the game, the 5-minute Fridays, and we have games then, but now we're just gonna bring it in to the entire show. And we're just gonna have some fun together. And this segment is I can't take it from my other podcast, because my other podcast we call it Game Time, and we have like a whole bumper to it. But we're just gonna call this Time Game.
Gaming ardently.
Gaming ardently.
Guys, I suck at games. I suck at games.
I think you're gonna be really good at this one. One of the ideas that I had for this season, I wanted to talk about today, but I'll bump it out there. It's called Ardently Battles, and so it's gonna be it's gonna be podcast segments or like episodes, but it's also gonna be like post relating to them. So ardently battles, like ardently battling like struggles like porn or whatever, and we're just gonna focus on that. We might get input from several people and just put into an episode, put it into post, and we're just gonna offer that to you all. And so I'm trying to still like flesh that out a little bit, but once I've figured that out, we'll deliver it to you all. So be mindful for that. Ardently battles.
I love it.
All right, so this game, you might have seen it off of Jimmy Fallon. It's called True Confessions. All right, True Confessions. Here, we have all our our two co-hosts and myself. We're going to pick 2 stories from our lives. Right, one of them is going to be true, and the other one is going to be a false story that didn't happen. And we will choose one story to be true, one story to be false, and then we, like the other 2, so say Jurell's going first, Steve and I will decide which number we want to say, and we'll say 2. And if 2 is Jurell's real story, he'll tell that story. And then we will have to decide, Steve and I will have to decide whether or not, we get to ask some questions for like a minute. For a minute, we get to ask some questions about that story to like kind of deduce whether or not it's real or not. Oh. And then I think it's together we make a decision whether it's true or false. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So we'll give you like 2 minutes to kind of think of your stories. If you need a little bit more time, do so. But I'm just going to type mine out for a sec.
Thank you.
All right. So the game is, again, it's called... what is the game called?
True Confessions.
True Confessions. And Jurell is going to go first. Steve, which one do we want to choose? 1 or 2?
I think we're going to go with number 1.
All right, number 1. All right, let's go number 1. Tell us story number 1, Jurell.
Story number 1 is back in the day when I was like it must have been 8 to 10 or whatever. We had the Paris Festival, and we had these like big slides. I don't know if you big slides where you can get like a potato sack or whatever and get down them, and they go super fast or whatever. So go down them with my sisters like 2 or 3 times, and my mom's rushing us, and I'm like insistent that we have to go one more time, like crying, like a little kid crying, like grade school crying, that we have to go. So we go one more time, and then I wanted to like try to make this one count, right? So I push myself off, like like to get like the extra start.
Yeah.
And I get a little bit out of control, and I like put my hands down, and there was like a screw sticking out, and it goes.
Oh.
I looked down, and like literally guts in my hand. Literally guts in my hand. 8 stitches. Hospital. Tears. Scars. Physically and emotionally.
Oh my God.
Story number 1.
All right, so now we get a minute to ask you questions. Let me start my timer here. So we have 1 minute. When I say go, we can start asking you questions. All right, go.
So how old were you again?
I don't know. Grade school. I said 8.
You said it was a church event?
Suspicious.
Church event.
Wow.
What color was the
Why
slide?
was your mom rushing you?
It was a beigey white.
Oh.
It's not a real color.
Why was your mom rushing you?
Yeah.
I don't remember why.
How many lanes were on the slides?
4 to 6.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Were there any other children who got hurt?
No.
Were you by yourself at that point?
No, I was with my family.
No, as in like you said you were going down with your sisters. Were you like sliding by yourself the entire time? Or were you
We were all next to each other. So like I had my 2 sisters next to each other, yeah.
Did your mom say anything to the person who's operating the slides?
That's time. You can answer that. You have to answer that question.
She did that. She did.
She did. Okay. All right. Stephen, now we have to decide whether or not together if it was true or false. What do you think? I'm thinking it's true. What do you think?
Yeah, the details were so good, especially in like the number of stitches. I'm gonna say it's true.
It's a true story.
It's false. Let's go.
Dang it!
What happened to my sister though?
Oh, really?
That's
smart. Smart.
When I was teaching in Detroit, and actually like a lot of my students were from Mexico. And the phrase there, like the phrase at St. Anne's was "Let's go." The phrase at this Detroit school is, "That's messed up, mister."
That's messed up, mister.
That's funny. Man. So did she get all those stitches?
Yeah.
Wow. So all of it was true. It just didn't happen to you.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
crazy.
correct.
Crazy.
That's scary.
I was like, how do I like have like
that's like
the
genius.
confidence to tell?
Yeah, genius to use a sister story because man, my sister got hurt, and I could have used that, but now I can't. So
no, I can't.
All right.
Thanks for playing.
Now it's Jurell. You get to choose who goes next.
Stephen, let's go.
All right, Stephen. All right. What we want? We'll say 1 or 2.
I say 2.
2. All right. Let's do 2.
Yeah.
All right. So, as Adrian knows, I like to do like voices and can like mimic different, sounds and things like that. Mm-hmm. So in my neighborhood, we have our public library, and there's like a massive mural of Sesame Street. So every summer they have a special reading of Sesame Street characters, and so I auditioned for the voice of Elmo, and was the runner-up because my mom got me late to one of the readings, and I was so close. I was like so pumped, and that's why clearly I like the color red. So yeah, that's a story. I was a runner-up for the voice of Elmo in a local public library summer reading.
Wow,
that can't be.
Actually...
Oh, we have to ask questions. I was going to say that can't be false.
1 minute. 1 minute starts now. All right, go.
Who was the winner?
Who was the winner?
Yeah,
it was this other lady who ended up working there.
What color? What color was her hair?
It was black.
How mad were you when you found out that she worked there and won?
I was so mad because my mom knew that's exactly what I wanted to do. Like, I would walk around the house all day impersonating him. And just like, why are you doing that? And I was like, I need this for my life.
How old were you?
I was 16.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that changed some things for me.
Yeah.
So the voice of the public library, what? puppet show?
It was a summer reading, and because we had the massive mural of the Sesame Street characters, it was just like their thing. It was like a tradition that they had.
Are you
during
gonna
the
get
summer.
paid? Are you gonna get paid?
No. It was just like a volunteer thing.
So why do you want to do it?
Why did I want to do it? Because it was awesome, and I loved making the voice of Elmo, and I was like, this is something that I did as a child, and I know how much fun it brought me, so I
Can
wanted
you
to
do-
try
Can
to
Okay,
you
quick.
do the
Okay, quick.
voice?
Last
Can you
question.
do the voice?
Do the voice.
Oh boy,
Oh my god.
what do you want me to say?
Oh my god.
I do the summer reading, I get the book, I go to the library.
Wow.
Yo,
That's gotta be
Elmo.
true. It's
That's
gotta be
Elmo.
true.
That's gotta be true.
It's gotta be true. I'm going true.
True.
It's completely false.
Oh.
Dang it!
Let's go.
I wanted that to be true so bad.
Oh man.
That
yeah.
was pretty good. You got me.
Thank you.
That was
Appreciate it.
great. Wow.
You got me with like, what color was her hair? Black.
Black.
Well, that actually was like, dang, he answered that so fast. This must be true.
Right. It's like that's coming from a true scar. Like he is really hurt by this.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, none of that was real. Adrian, you're up, man.
All right.
That was good.
What story am I telling? 1 or 2?
Take it away, Steven.
I think we're gonna have to go number 1.
All right. Number 1. I was at my uncle's house back when I was young. It was me, my grandpa, and my cousin, who had just learned how to walk. We are a little bit like, I think he's 22 now, so he's like we're 4 years apart. So I think I was like 4 or 5, and he was 1 or 2. Like he was he just learned to walk, and my grandpa was babysitting us on the driveway. It was gated, so we weren't going anywhere. But there was a canal, like that was like you could easily fall into, right? So there was like anywhere you go, just not that canal, right? And so my cousin being young and wanting to like explore because he just learned how to walk, was going all over the place. My grandpa's trying to keep up with both of us, and he starts trying to climb my mom's car. So he climbs onto my mom's car. My grandpa like helps him, goes and puts him on the trunk, and then he goes like, "Well, we got to put you on the trunk too, so you're not, going anywhere. I can't see you." So we're both on there. I'm sitting down. He's like jumping, like kind of like that. We're like kind of bouncing, and then he, shortly after wants to come down. So he tries to get down. My grandpa puts him down, and he runs off. My grandpa tries to run off before he can put me down, so I'm left on the car. And I was like, "Don't worry, Grandpa. I'm a big kid. I'm gonna show him how to get off the car." Well, I tried to get off the car, and I slipped, I fell, and I broke my elbow. My elbow came out of place. I got the scar to prove it.
Dang, still.
And I had surgery. They had to pop it back into place. They had a surgery. They put me in a sling, actually. Oh, they actually originally put me in a sling to like heal by itself, but then I didn't keep it in the sling, so then they had to like actually have surgery in it and put a needle in this long into my arm, which was like almost half my arm when I was young. So yeah, and then they put it in when I was awake, but then I was asleep when they took. They put it in when I was asleep, but I was awake when they took it out, and so it was very painful. And yeah, so he saved them from my cousin from going into the canal, but he didn't save me from breaking my arm.
All right.
You have 1 minute.
Jurell, I'll let you go first.
I'm very suspicious.
Okay.
How old were you again?
I was around 4 or 5.
Which direction did the gate open?
It rolled.
Left or right?
If you're facing the street, to close it, it went to the right.
What color was your cast? Or sling?
I had so many. I broke the other one the next year.
How did you break it?
This one I fell impressing a girl.
No, the slings.
The slings. How did I break the
What
slings?
color was the first sling that you had?
Probably like navy blue and white.
Typical.
Probably.
Probably.
What did your grandpa say?
I don't remember.
What hospital did you go to?
Local hospital, probably. I don't remember.
Never heard of it.
What do you remember after you fell off the car?
I remember. I just remember. I don't remember being in an ambulance. I remember this image of like the strangest part is I remember like the scene from above. Like I was watching outside of my body, like a drone shot, and I was
Outer
like
body
this,
experience.
and I had,
The age
like
of
people
4.5.
hovering over me. That's like that's when I think of that moment. I think of that angle, and like
Heaven is
I
for
never
real.
saw that angle, so. I don't know. Maybe I had a out of body experience at that age. Who knows?
Heaven is for real. Adrian Kuraldi.
Let me tell you.
All right.
All right, Jurell, what do
Is
you
it a
think?
true or a false story?
I'm gonna say false.
Yeah, I'm going false on it too. The scar, you know what? The scar had me for a second, but I was like, that could be almost
Could be anything. And he's like I think he's so good at games, and this is his game. Like,
Yeah.
Like he wasn't gonna tell a true story.
No way.
He was gonna try to make one up, and then
Wow, you guys are really good at not winning this game because that was a true story.
Damn.
I don't think any of us got the right.
Yeah, we're all wrong.
All right, so wait. So Jurell, your story was false. What was your true one?
My true one was of the similar vein, which was the same concept of I was running around. I think I was 8. You caught me with the age. I'm like, shoot, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So I think I was 8 for the true story where we were playing in the yard and we were playing with bubbles, like 2-gallon like bubble thing. It spilled in front of these cement steps. So we're playing tag or whatever, and I trip on the bubbles. I go airborne. And then my head meets like the corner of the stair like this. Boom.
Oh.
And then blood, like whatever.
Guts.
And then I wash, guts. And then I wash my hands, and there's just like blood everywhere all the way down my arms.
Oh.
So then I go inside. I'm like, Dad, I got hurt. And he's like, shut up, I'm on the phone. And then I look in the mirror, I'm like, I could see my skull. And so I'm like, going to his face, I'm like, I got hurt. And he's like, oh, shit. So, like, ambulance and everything. But, I don't know, you can see the scar right there.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you can. I got one here too. Look.
Battle scars.
Yeah.
That one I ran into a corner of a closet playing tag at my cousin's house.
Man.
I wasn't
That's
allowed to go to
intense.
his house for a while. But what was yours? Yours was false, but what was your true?
Hey,
Steve?
guys, I got to get my daughter here. You want me to
Sure.
tune back?
Yeah, come back if you're done before we end out.
Okay, cool. I think it'll take 15 minutes or so.
So what was your true?
My true story was that I got to freestyle rap at the Latin nightclub Copacabana in Manhattan, NYC.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wait, how did that come to play?
So the young adult office would have their young adult masses, and afterwards they'd have like a gathering. So it was at the Copacabana.
Oh
And,
wow.
like Colin Nakaza, who's the director of the office, was like, my brother was talking to him, and he's like, "Hey, my brother's a rapper," and he's like, "Oh yeah, let's get him on the mic." And I was like, "All right, I'm ready." And it's funny because it was like the regular like staff was there, so all the bartenders, the DJ, it was like they're regular people, but like we were
Wow.
not regular people because like
Yeah.
you know, young adult Catholic events, it's like pretty interesting sometimes of who shows up. So the DJ just starts playing a beat, and I literally was just like rapping for like a
That's awesome.
good time. Yeah,
Were
it was
they
so much fun.
were they all into it?
Oh yeah, everybody was super into it, and I was a brother too, so I had like my
Oh,
clerical
they
shirt
collar.
on
Yeah.
and all that, and DJ was like, I did not see that coming. So true story,
That's awesome.
fun times. Yeah.
That's really cool. My false story was a story about me drowning. I was gonna say that when I was young, I went to the beach with my cousins and my family, and I was never a good swimmer, but I went with them anyway. I was about 12 or 13 at the time, and we went to the beach, and I had these sunglasses on that I really liked that I just got from like the gas station, but it was like white and had this blue tint, which I really did have these, and I have a picture of me in those like several times at this age frame, that time age. Oh, okay, cool. And it was like, I was in there with them, and they kind of went to a sandbar, and I tried to go with them, but it got a little too heavy for me, and I got pummeled by a wave, and I lost my sunglasses. So then I went to go try to get them, and when I got them, I got pummeled by 2 more waves, and all I remember was just trying to breathe twice, and I just drank 2 gulps of water. My cousin saved me eventually. He like picked me up and just walked me 2 feet to the standing area, and then but he didn't save my sunglasses, and that was gonna be my story.
Man, that's intense.
Yeah, I am not a good swimmer, and something similar to that did happen, but not completely that way.
I hear you.
So yeah, that was the game. That was fun. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Jurell went to go take care of his baby, so he's no longer here with us, but we're gonna do our outro here. So thank you all for listening. If you want to follow our ministry, Living Ardently, go to Living Ardently on its Instagram. You can go to our website at wordpress.com/ or wordpress.livingardently.com. I don't know. It's going to be in the show notes. Just check it out there. If you want to follow Steve and his ministry, go to at the Bosco Beats. Follow Jurell and the Living Person. Join us for the Mile Day in May. You can still sign up for the Mile Day Plus package, which does cost some money, but is definitely worth it if you want some extra community. Follow them at the.living.person. And yeah, we have a whole lot of great stuff for you guys this year. I'm excited. Steven's excited. I'm sure. Aren't you excited?
Oh, yeah, I am, actually. I'm very excited.
Very excited.
You could tell
very
in my
excited.
voice.
And it's going to be one of the best years ever.
That was me trying to not show excitement, but that was pretty lame, so I apologize.
I thought it was like more of like a, what's his name? This actor. I can't think of his name.
For clear eyes.
And yeah, so make sure you listen to us on Apple Podcasts. You can hit us, listen to, if you listen on Spotify, you can get subscriptions to all of these. You can get notifications for all the podcast episodes when they come up. So go make sure you do that. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. All very helpful. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Living Ardently on all of them. Living Ardently podcast on some. Figure that out. Email us. Let us know. Send us a DM if you want to continue some conversations and or be on the guest on the podcast. Let us know. We're always open to that at livingardentlypod@gmail.com. And yeah, thanks all for listening. We hope that this year is awesome. I know there's been some bumps in the roads already this year, but hey, look, we're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on praying, and God's going to continue to win. That's how it goes.
That's right.
All right, y'all. God bless you. And until next time, hit me with that Elmo outro as keep living ardently. Peace.
Keep living ardently. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Never doing that again. Never again.
God bless. Peace.